stories, how you use them.
T-minus 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
All right, I found my board. Well, this week we're going to be talking about meme stocks. Meme stocks is what you asked about because you said, wait a minute, I got GameStop, AMC, Roaring Kitty, all this stuff going on, and they're talking a lot about meme stocks. Help me understand what's going on. Well, first of all, let's talk about what it is. In case you weren't around in 2021 with Reddit and Wall Street bets and all that went on there, and then there was a movie that was about Roaring Kitty and about GameStop, everything that happened. It was quite the phenomena. And here we are 3 years later where it's coming up again. So, for those of you that just joined the story, what's a meme stock? Companies that have a cult-like following on social media. Meme stocks, GameStop, AMC. These stocks were followed by people on social media that were talking about what they traded, when they traded, and how they were the people that were shorting. There were some very large hedge funds and other things shorting stocks, meaning betting it's going to go down and we're going to make it go up. We're going to get the crowd together and everybody buy a little on given days, make the stock go up, squeeze the short so they're actually losing money because they're betting it'll go down, and if it goes up, they have to pay the difference. So that was the whole thing happened in 2001. But suffice to say, GameStop is a meme stock being promoted and pushed by Roaring Kitty, who's an internet personality that originated on Reddit. And here we go. Roaring Kitty is back. And Roaring Kitty is back, and so are meme stocks. GameStop and AMC surged like it's 2021. These are the headlines this week that you were asking about for me to decode them so you can understand the story. Well, GameStop is what we're going to focus on. And GameStop storms to 110% toward best day since 2021 of return of meme stock folk hero Roaring Kitty. And meme stocks are back, but this rally looks different than 2021. Yeah, it was quite the thing that happened. And finally, Roaring Kitty. Emergency video, Roaring Kitty is back. He wears this red headband and he sits there and in a gamer chair proclaiming what's up. And this week, it was tremendous what happened. So let's take a look at the timeline. Robinhood was a place where a lot of these people had trading accounts back in the day. And Wall Street Bets was on Reddit, where they would share information and get each other kind of revved up into this thing. And I did a Biz Doc case study. The link is down below where I covered Robinhood Part 2. And in this video, we talk specifically about what happened with the meme stock, Wall Street Bet group on Reddit, Roaring Kitty fanning the flames. It was all related. And Robinhood, had some issues back then that you'll find in this case study. Reddit had people all over, and there were some issues there. Wall Street Bets, those guys, were they trading on information? Were they doing things that is against security laws? They were involved, and finally Roaring Kitty, and then the ride that was GameStop. There was enough to make a movie, and make a movie they did. So you can go back and check out that movie. But the Biz Doc case study will take you through a lot of it, which brings us to today. So what exactly happened? All of a sudden, this gets posted by Roaring Kitty at 8 p.m. on Sunday, May 12th. Let me tell you what this is all about. This is a symbol of a gamer. And you're sitting back just playing a game, just playing like Madden football or something, and all of a sudden people lean forward, put their hands down. It means this is about to get serious. You may have seen friends, family members do the same thing when they're playing a game, and all of a sudden they're in, elbows on their knees, and they're getting to it. Well, so this is Roaring Kitty sending a message like it's about to get serious. But what's interesting is nobody had heard from him for 3 years. So what happens? On Sunday, May 12th, Roaring Kitty posts on X. Then the image suggests to everybody it's serious. It's also a call to arms of all the people that were behind Roaring Kitty, that followed him and were defending him and everything. And he had been on there for a 3-year hiatus. Since that time, he starts posting movie clips, approximately 50 a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with phrases from the movies. You should have seen this coming. Where were you? Make my day. All of those things that is almost like his dialogue with the outside world was occurring through these movie clips through the week. And things started happening. So let's look at GameStop. Prior to this post on X, where was GameStop? In April, it was trading between 10 and 11. We'll get to a chart in a minute, but I want you to look at this in terms of phases. Then May 1st to 12th, something was going on. Why do I say the 12th? Sunday night the 12th, this is posted. So May 1st to 12th, it was up to 12, and all of a sudden it kind of jumped up to 17. So something was going on behind the scenes. Somebody was talking to somebody. The stock was starting to move a little bit. Then you get to the big timeline. Guess what? Here we go. So we're going to go back to the beginning of May. Now you can see the zone I was talking about there between like 10 and 11 down here, and all of a sudden it gets up toward 17 a share right there. It's important to look at that because that was the night before Roaring Kitty made his post. Then, boom, Roaring Kitty post on X. The pre-market trading takes it all the way up to $35. He's back, he must know something. And he's like, I make my case for a bull, to be bullish on GameStop. Meaning bullish means you think there's a promising, profitable future and it's going to go up. And a day later, the pre-market trading. We were sitting here before the PBD podcast on Tuesday morning watching this thing actually hit $72 in pre-market trading. Pre-market means that's where the price is pre-market, and they're just waiting for that bell to go off, bang, and the trading to begin for the next trading day. Well, it would settle out, and then we have a big drop. Look at this. So now this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and here we are on Friday. It's at $20.54. Well, wait, what happened? This was driven by demand. This was driven by activity and investor activity that was triggered by Roaring Kitty. Well, then last night, Thursday, at about the time the market closed, GameStop announced we had a Q1 that was weaker than last year. I think it was like 900, it was 900, and last year it was 1.1. So it was a pretty big difference in what was going on there. And those are millions and billions, by the way. So, and they said, we're going to be issuing 49 million shares. Well, there was 350 million shares in the market. So basically what they're saying is, whoa, we're going to put another 50 out there. So that's a meaningful percent. I think it's between 13 and 16% by the time you figure out certain redundancies and the actual impact and how many are issued on a given day. But what that would mean is you're discounting, you're putting that much more money out there, you're devaluing the stocks that are out there, so the price has to come down. Well, weaker and this going down, it goes back, and we are at $20.54, and let's go see where that relates, the red line, to where Roaring Kitty made the post. It's up $3 from when Roaring Kitty made the post. So you can see what happened there. That's the story for the week. But now then, let's take a look at it. What is GameStop's reality? Well, the reality is GameStop AMC shares tumble as the meme stock fervor fades. It only took a week this time. Then GameStop tanks on move to issue shares and quarterly sales decline. See, this is called reality. You put more shares on the market, it comes down. Now, we're not talking about Roaring Kitty here. Roaring Kitty was the one that spurred the interest in it, and the stock was traded up. Reality comes out, and people say, what is the value of the shares? Well, more shares are going to be in market, so the current shares are going to come down in value by about 15%, and there's a sales decline year over year. And on top of it, Market Watch, GameStop stock plunge after post warning and planned stock offering. So now, reality comes back. So, what does that mean? What's next? Well, I got the little guy here from Wall Street Bets from the Reddit subgroup. So it was a tough week. You could have been on the wrong side of GameStop this week. You could have been buying with the spike, and then you're now sitting there collecting $20 after the spike. So meme stocks are back. However, social media might be the new Motley Fool. Motley Fool used to, at the dawn of Motley Fool, would post articles on stocks and those stocks would move. Is social media the new Motley Fool, that enough people with a Robinhood account or some other trading account are following what's going on in social media, and they are basically momentum buyers and sellers based on what they see on social media, as opposed to technical buyers and sellers on market dynamics, or analyst buyers and sellers where you act like an analyst and you look at the information that's out there and you analytically make a decision. There's a lot of different buyers out there. Programmatic buyers, technical buyers, people like you and me maybe that buy like an analyst where they believe there's a future out there. And then you also have momentum buyers that are listening to social media. This is real. Meme stock kind of creates this effect. Look at that chart. That's what happened this week. Then, but the spikes and drops will be violent, and you may be buying in with Roaring Kitty on Monday morning after you see the Sunday thing, but you better have sold at the right moment this week because it's come back down with the reality of earnings. And lastly, if you have a little money onto the side and you can follow things like this and you're almost doing it for fun, remember, this is like gambling. This is like gambling. The stock market, people say, well, it's always gambling. Well, it may always be gambling, but there's people that say, I'm going to follow the S&P 500 for 15 years in my IRA or my 401k. My IRA, where I make my own decisions, or you select one of the indexes with your 401k, because most 401ks from your work will give you a list of things that you invest in, and a couple of those are usually related to broad indexes. And broad indexes like the S&P and like the Dow, over history, they have their days and they have their nights and they have their spikes and their drops. But if you just drew a line 5 years across any era, you know, my understanding is that 5 years across any era of the S&P 500, you were up. You may not be like this, you may be like this, or you may be like this, and it's there. And so those are long-term strategies. Buying according to portfolio strategy based on your age, your responsibility, whether you have children or not, whether you're 60 and you don't have much time to recover if the market crashes, or you're 24 and you're not married yet and you've got time. Risks are different. You can play that out in your 401k or in your IRA. If you've got a little money on the side, you should treat this as if you're going to Vegas. It's pure gambling. And you may say, oh, I made a little money doing this, made a little money doing that, but you can also lose a lot of money. And I would treat it like, what would you go to Vegas with? 500 bucks? I would treat this the same way. I'd be really, really careful because this is not a long-term strategy. Treating this like a video game, but this is not a game. This is where real people lose real money. And prudence will be your friend. I've always said the best girlfriend anybody could have is prudence. You know, it's a woman's name. Also, it is a fantastic way to plan your 401k, your IRA, and where you're actually trying to save your money and be cautious and careful, you know, prudent. So date prudence when it's time for this. Enjoy the ride here. If you want to gamble with a little of it, that's your choice. But remember, this is going to be spiky and it's going to be crazy. Look at this week. Well, I hope that answered the question for you that people were saying, you know, what's up with Roaring Kitty? What's up with GameStop? What's up with meme stocks? A lot of people weren't really paying attention or maybe didn't know it. Or maybe you were in high school and now you're in college and you're watching this 3 years later going, wow, that was crazy. But I hope that was helpful to you. And if you like that, check out one of these two classic Biz Doc case studies in the archive. I think you'll enjoy those too. Until next time, I'm Tom Mills with the Biz Doc, and I hope I left you better than I found you.